Hello. Bing bong. Price is wrong.
Yeah, to all the ladies in the house, tell them. Another day in the ghetto. One look outside and I'm already upset, yo. It look about 102. It's a Saturday and Biggie ain't got nothing to do. I'm interrupted by a phone ring. Sometimes I wish I never got the motherfucking thing. Hello, can I speak to Biggie? Yo, who this? Tanisha, your call back, I'm busy. Why don't you hit me on the box a little later? Washed up, got dressed, hits the elevator. Steps out, it's the same old scene. Dope fiend, crack fiend, eyewitness news team. I seen the honey with the butt looking butter soft. I know she look much better with them clothes up off. Sitting all thick with the ruby red lipstick. That's the one I got to get with. Can I get with ya? 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 Why you wanna get with me? Cause you got a big B-U-T-T-C. Can I get with ya? 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 Why you wanna get with me? Cause you got a big B-U-T-T. She said if I get with you, I got to get with your whole hood rat crew. What you think I do? Sling skins for a living? My name ain't November. This ain't Thanksgiving. You ain't Michael Bivins. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Do me, baby, I ain't down. My name ain't Tupac, I don't get around. You hitting this nigga, how that sound? First of all, you got me mixed up with somebody you done slept with. Hold up, that's my Nina Cherry shit. I got something slicker, let me just sip up on this liquor. All I wanna do is smoke a little chronic, slam you like Onyx, and get you hooked on this Biggie Smalls phonics. 102, how to squeeze 22s in them Reebok shoes, huh? Can I get with ya? 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 Cause you got a big T-T-C. Can I get with ya? 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 Why you wanna get with me? Cause you got a big B-U-T-T. I said, walk me upstairs, cause I forgot my Phillies. She said, I don't care, just don't be acting silly. I knew I had a track with my hardcore rap, and it wouldn't take a second before I had her on the back, twiddling with the brush strap. Threw on my silk CD, cause I wanna get freaky with you. Lose control on the skins is all I can picture. Now I'm about to hit ya. Can I get with ya? Ow, can I get with ya? Why you wanna get with me? Cause I gotta make me you get. Hey, can I get with ya? Can I get with ya? Hey, can I get with ya? You big booty bitch, come on. Do the big booty bitch. So black, so black, so black. So black, can I get a little so black? Can I get a little so black? Yo, we fucking the fuck out of this motherfucker. Yo, let me hear the third verse, yo. That was the end.
Boy, have I looked forward to this show. How are you, everybody? Let me know in the chat box. We've got a couple of things to look at. I got also a message from Chardonnay Flasher. Says, I feel like it's after the Daffodils chat. This is a brilliant ticker, but I'm not sure which ticker you're talking about, Chardonnay. And we're going to have a look at Endbridge on TSX. Whoops. There we go. Well, we've got some fantastic analysis here. Thank you very much, Andrew, for the fax request. We're also going to look at Pond Coin. That's from Brew Lee. Super sorry I didn't get to that sooner, Brew. Looks like a super interesting little crypto project there. So I'll be happy to look at that. And anything else, anything comes through on the chat box or in the request link, then of course we'll get to that. We'll also talk about SPY, VIX, GME, and if you like, AMC, plus anything else that comes up. And we might have some tunes, who knows? Right, so first thing to look at is Endbridge. We'll start here on the 15-minute time frame. Why not? A bit of a change, and we'll work our way up to the top side. Huge gap. Huge gap. How is everybody? Let me know. We can get some games on the go later too. Let me know. So there's a gap, right? Top side of that closes around 48, 49 bucks, 48 something and change. You've got Rocky Outcrop Flash at a 50% retracement on this current move back up again. So you go back up to where you've just come from. That's in at around 46.50. And then you've got the bottom side of the gap, which we can make slightly more accurate in at around 46.45.95. The reason that we didn't move that on up is because there's a more important artifact right where the price is at the minute, including the 236 on this Fibonacci. So that and the 50 simple 15-minute time frame suggests that if this thing isn't going to collapse anymore, this is a perfect buy. But Endbridge on the 1 hour time frame See that this structure, it'll become more clear as we go up the time frames, is apparent that we've been putting in lower highs and lower lows on this section of price action. That's the resistance diagonal, and you could potentially be looking at something, if it does come in for a third touch parallel to that guy, something in this region here. Come on, buddy, do what you're told. You know, something in around those regions, and it looks like it could potentially be a channel. That's the 1 hour time frame, where you can see the 50 simple and 200 period moving average having a little bit of a fight there. Both of them above price action. 4 hour time frame. Now you can see, looking left, we've gone slightly lower than that previous low, come back for a 786 retracement from the impulse move that started this oscillation, the latest leg of the trend. Also on the 4 hour time frame, you can see very volatile stock with the momentum swinging between overbought and oversold, not paying much attention to the center line unless there's been a test of support and resistance without a touch of the prior. Onto the daily time frame now, where we're starting to work our way in towards where your targets might be on a long-term trade, which is what Andrew was thinking with this thing. This is traded on TSX. You probably remember Andrew from Loblaws recently there in the week, though there wasn't that many views. Those who did see it really enjoyed it. Apart from middle section, a little bit quiet there. So you've managed to exceed this prior low. That's not fantastic. You can say that there's a series of lower highs. There's also a series of lower lows within this section of the trend, though the impulse move that began it all, depending on where you take your Fibonacci from, could be in around 42, or we could be looking at this inflection point in around 29. And if you use these Fibonaccis and go up through the time frames, you get extra detail. So 236, the gap that you're looking at, that represents a short-term trade that might be exploited. I wouldn't expect it to make its way back above the 200 period moving average at 49.50, $50 before such times as it's put in some sort of a strong test here. It may well break these levels and go on to the top side, which would be fantastic, and then you could look to take it, if you hadn't already, from 54 and above, because it'd be breaking out to all-time highs again. Blue sky breakout, you could be looking at that with Fibonacci retracements from the high to the low that it ultimately puts in, should that be now, and look for a 1.13 extension, probably comes in at around 57.50. We could draw it on, check that. Shall we? Shall we do it? 56.72 and $60. Well, close enough. Close enough. And you'll always have enough, right? So this is what we're looking at, really. Where do we get this to come back down to in order to get good trades? We can see that there's a touch of divergence between these two peaks. And like we said, this leg of the trend is a downtrend. But having pushed up, found a touch of divergence between the momentum and price action, and then found a retracement that held the 236 of that fib and held the 50% retracement of the prior, you'd say that you couldn't technically call it bearish. You could call it bullish if you want. You can't call it bearish yet. If it does break through that 50%, potentially you'd think that it's on for an oscillation down again. But to see that break below this Fibonacci at $40, the 1.13 extension from the low before this part of the trend, or the previous low before the impulse moved to the top side, you'd be looking at a 50% retracement. To see it then break below $40 might be where you'll look for it to get quite bearish. So if you're looking for it to get bullish, and you're talking long term, you want to see it above 55. If you're looking for really good deep value entries and you're talking long term, maybe you're looking for tests of around that $40 level. If you don't believe that the low side of this potential channel here represents an opportunity, and really it's quite tough to manage this with a stop because you've exceeded your prior lows, and the important impulse move here is down at 42, very close to that 40 level where all the important fibs are, and you would exceed that previous low having put in a new high. It would be quite typical then to find the majority of liquidity at this price. So if price itself goes beyond there, then the market move will capture the majority of liquidity, which is how price operates. And if you're really good at technical analysis, and especially if you've done the Rocky Outcrop and Trade Spotting course, you'll understand that we analyze price in order to analyze how market participants will behave under different scenarios. And because we understand how people behave, and we understand what then the financial psychology and the behavioral psychology people have with regards to money and trading, we know how people will react at certain areas, and it'll scare the bejesus out of them if it breaks down below these important lows, which we're currently testing at the minute. If it loses the 886 and that comes in at around $42, and it loses then the prior low here at 41.40 bucks, you'll be looking at tests of 40 or 40.44, right? Wow. Now that would be fantastic, because at that stage you probably do get a nice little bounce. You can also manage that stop immediately at 39.99 or 39.90, 39.89 if you like those numbers. Don't want to get caught out on a round number where price would typically test. Then you might be looking for that sort of a stop, at which place you want the closest possible entry. So $40 looks like a good zone for that particular type of trade, with a stop that holds at these levels. If price doesn't hold at those levels, then you've got another chance at 36, which is a further 10% off the price. If that doesn't hold, I'd not be looking at this 1618. You'd have gone so far through your prior high from the previous formation, which you can also see here comes in at around 44, where price action is very close to in the low side of this channel, and therefore that could be where it makes its breakout move from, if it is to get back above this downward sloping diagonal. So if price does go to 40 and then 36, you've gone so far through this prior high that the question will be, where is the horizontal that's next most important? And as we said, it's in at around 30 bucks if it doesn't hold this zone here. So that's what might happen. Price action either is going to fall down and test these levels, or it'll find support at the best value entry based on the current information on the chart. And if it bounces here or at the low side of this channel, then you'd be looking for it to test the top side diagonal. If that breaks, I'd be looking immediately for it to break 55. If it did and I was already in it, I'd be moving my stop up. If it did and I wasn't in it, I'd be getting in it with a stop at 55, targeting these moves up to around 62 or above. And if you're following it with stops, then it can keep going and you can keep following it. So that's what I'd say. But then I'd go up to the weekly time frame. I'd talk about the huge amount of divergence here, that this is an extremely dangerous trend to enter at this part of that trend, because all of those figures we've talked about before, they were all in the context of this long-term uptrend. And if you want to look at that from a diagonal, you can see that it lost this extreme incline that it had a number of times, and most recently. Sure, it's very difficult to see it with all the drawings on, so I'll turn them off, but that's the diagonal. Price action is currently just gone through it. So it's holding the 200 period moving average there on the weekly, but if it loses that, it's already lost this important diagonal, and you can see that the important horizontal subsequently is in at 1, 2, 3 weekly tests of $27 and change, which is also very approximate, does that a sentence, very close to 35 bucks, 25 bucks, pardon me, and a 236 retracement from the all-time Fibonacci, the dominant Fibonacci on this time frame. So if it doesn't hold these immediate areas, then while those potential opportunities do represent something that might end up being resisted at this diagonal along the linear progression, so depending on when it breaks to the top side, that might be all she wrote for this, because it's already tested this important diagonal, it broke it. And if it doesn't manage to get back above it, I'd suggest that it comes down and tests these important horizontals again. Those would be the prior high that it would be breaking en route, and subsequently I think you could see a big retracement in this trend, perhaps something that takes you back as far as a 50% of the entire move, which would take this thing down to $10.59 if it doesn't maintain this extreme strong move to the top side. But then on the monthly time frame, you'd be hard pressed to rule out the potential of continuation, because there's only ever been an uptrend on this thing, higher highs, higher lows, hasn't broken important Fibonacci's, it never even managed to test a 200 period moving average. So on the monthly, it doesn't look that dramatic. I can make it more dramatic. I can even go, oh my God! But actually, it's nothing extremely crazy is happening yet. So if you're looking for a long-term entry, it may well be then that those tests on route down, 50 simple and the monthly's in at around 44 or 40. It's hard to tell. Big fat boom batty there. If that doesn't hold, you've got your 618 retracement back from these lows that we're talking about. And if that comes in at 34, and if they don't hold, you're looking to test 25 again. 200 period moving average at 29 bucks. On the monthly time frame, do you get a bounce? Well, it's such an important horizontal just below it. I'd suggest that it's worth either waiting for that, because you've already waited and anticipated this huge drop at that stage, or of course, you take out the 200 period moving average with the stop just below. So that's what we're looking at with regards to Enbridge. Now, I know it's a little bit esoteric stock, and of course it's traded on a Canadian exchange, so it may well be that that isn't floating your boat, but I think that it's a particularly good thing to look to if you're talking about dividends. Why trade spotting? Why is that a good thing if we're talking about dividends? Because Enbridge recently acquired 3 US-based utility firms, Dominion Energy, the big one, a massive $14 billion transaction. That included $9.4 billion in cash and $4.6 billion in assumed debt, which is a very important point to focus on. The debt this company are taking on and the implications for its share price with such a tight acquisition of these energy companies. Now, energy companies themselves all recently have provided, not all, many of them have provided quite a strong dividend. But the truth is that in the past 40 years, oil has had significant crashes. The energy market has had horrendous dips, and that isn't conducive to a long-term hold that's determined by a dividend return. So bear that in mind. Utilities acquired are the East Ohio Gas Company and K-Star Gas Company and Public Services Company of North Carolina, right? So now I have no idea where those places are. I think they're in America, and as such, I don't know much about the Ohio Energy Company. It sounds extremely glamorous, though, wouldn't you agree? Enbridge sought to diversify its income stream and reduce risk for shareholders. This is why they pursued the deal. The utility space does provide opportunities for low-risk, attractive financial results. And who wants to spend all that capital in order to develop this sort of value when you can just buy it? Acquisition significantly boosts Enbridge exposure to gas distribution from 12 to 22%. So then the overall gas prices are going to have a long-term effect on Enbridge, so I'd pay attention there. Enbridge will be the only major pipeline and midstream operator with cash flow and regulated utility outfit. So they've got the broad spectrum there, and that'll help them with regards to management and reducing costs. The gas distribution operation will become more geographically diverse in future, and this is a lot of why Enbridge want to get involved. The growth potential and financial impact of the acquisition are that management has identified around $5 billion worth of investment initiatives for these acquired utilities, so they can put them to work straight away. An 8% cumulative annual growth rate is what we're looking at on that chart. Consolidated rate base expected for both all those assets. Enbridge estimated earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization is projected to increase to roughly $17.8 billion. The transaction is expected to increase profitability at the company by approximately 10%. So reducing costs, providing them with economies of scale, and increasing their revenue. And in order to exploit these opportunities, they've made these acquisitions. They have issued between $2.93 billion and $3.37 billion worth of stock to fund that purchase. That had a little bit of an impact on the recent moves to the top side on that chart we're looking at. Debt terms for this transaction were not disclosed, but recent debt issuances had their interest rates ranging from 4.9 to 5.97%, so not totally terrible under current conditions. Acquisition results in additional cash flow to Enbridge. Fantastic. Dominion, they sold 50% ownership interest in their Cove Point to Berkshire Hathaway for $3.3 billion. He's been on doing the rounds, hasn't he? They did not receive favorable prices for the utility assets that it sold, but the deal did allow Dominion to reduce its debt by $13.3 billion, which at the minute is particularly important when they didn't have favorable financial terms on those loans. So their vision is that natural gas is going to play a crucial role in the future energy mix. I know that some countries in the world look at energy and think natural gas is a renewable source of energy. I've not actually come to that conclusion myself, but I know that that's how people talk about it. The company aims for a diversified energy portfolio, and what that really means is they want to have their finger in all the pies in case of a dip in any one particular sector, and those dips can be horrific, as we've seen. Enbridge acquisition expands presence in Ohio, like we say, glamorous there. Shout out to all the Ohioans. North Carolina, right? That's that place, that song Shaggy sang, and Utah, again, right? Another place I've not really got much knowledge of, but if you're from there, let me know what it's like in the chat box. So their focus is on populated areas with sustainable business practices, and they see opportunity for dividend growth as a result of the acquisition, which is quite a lot considering the recently we were looking at about 7.8% dividend on these guys, which is huge. Canadian midstream companies face regulatory challenges and project delays, and this is not the sploshing I expected, says you. The Trans Mountain expansion project has been delayed due to route changes and plenty of opposition, which you would expect, and the cancellation of the Keystone pipeline by Biden resulted in huge losses for TC Energy. So funding the acquisition, as I said, a little bit of debt and a lot of shares sold. 11 billion in debt, in fact, including debt from Dominion that they took on. And they had to issue those $3 billion in new shares to make it happen. So market perspective is that there's some nervousness around Enbridge's £14 billion deals. Imagine it was pounds, eh? Wow, they'd be so happy. But the acquisition is expected to benefit in the long term through, as I say, the cost reductions, economies of scale, and increase in revenue. Summary there of the fundamentals for Enbridge. So I hope that's helpful. We ended on the monthly time frame, which looks good, but obviously extreme warnings. 50 simple there, 200 period here. It has never tested it before. These prior lows, this is a horizontal level. It's got 3 touches. It never had 3 touches at horizontal before. So if it comes here, it's nearly definitely going to bounce. And at that stage, you would say it looks like a potential long-term entry. So the best possible value on this thing may well be from $25. So that is Enbridge. Holy, that's amazing, isn't it? So thank you so much for being here to watch the show. We're going to look at Pond Coin now, starting on the daily time frames. It hasn't been around all that long. And look at that, 0.00001806, down 28.28% today. Quite huge move. But as you see, it's very volatile and moves quite a lot. As we will get to in a momento, there's the 1 minute time frame, as you can see, it's making actual moves right now. Hey, make some more. Anywho, so we're going to go out on the 4 hour of the daily and other places where we've got flashes and interesting things to look to. Rocket Crop Flash already filled the once ahead of that move. And there's the prior high, touched it twice. And it's quite obvious this thing is going sideways at the minute. That's on the 4 hour time frame. So this is the sideways price section with Pond Coin, Pond Coin, like James Pond. What a game. Right, so yeah, sideways price action. You're back above the 50 simple here, very close to it, having lost it there in the last few minutes, and it's dropped very close to 50 simple, though not distant from it is the point. You're not very far away. Sideways price action in the midst of this trend. We've got things to look at on the lower time frame. Also, talking about Pond Coin, what is it? What is this Pond Coin thing? Well, we've got this website, right? Which I find the background here is supposed to represent the fact that this is a liquidity solution for the market, and it's quite an innovative idea. There are others who are more of an expert on the exact details of the company, but I can tell you something about it. PNDC, Pond Coin. It's a novel entrant in the cryptocurrency realm, and like I say, introduces an innovative approach to enhancing the user experience in crypto swaps and decentralized transactions. It's very much a decentralized focused coin. Digital asset designed to give users the ability to secure the most favorable rates when they're doing a crypto swap or claiming an airdrop. And they do this through the utilization of decentralized exchange platforms. So they're linking the decentralized exchanges together, much akin to the mechanism employed by intelligent pricing platforms that diligently seek the most advantageous price deals across various domains, such as travel, insurance, credit cards, all these sort of price comparison sites with a degree of a network to them when they're able to find the best possible deal. So, for example, Rocky and I, when we were starting companies here in Edinburgh, would have been very friendly with the people who started Skyscanner, and they do a very similar situation. It's just about scouring the market for the best possible deal at any given time in order to provide you the best possible value. At the core of Pond Coin's functionality is the decentralized exchange framework, and this is bolstered by their sophisticated multi-chain smart routing system. Now, that sounds like a load of silly words, which often happens when you read the white paper for these sort of cryptocurrencies. But the truth is that that's a necessity of this innovative new technology, that you have to use these silly words. So, along with offering this parallel service to the the decentralized exchange themselves, they try to provide value so you can get the best option, the best deal at any given moment. Right. The core of their functionality there, decentralized exchanges, the linking them together, it's an intricate infrastructure, and it's designed to ensure that users can navigate the cryptocurrency landscape, right? So that when you're interacting with all these other coins, you're able to also make the best in the moment transaction based on all the offers, anyone who's willing to sell it. So where it comes to closed exchanges or alternative exchanges as they're known, with dark pools, you're not necessarily as a retail investor able to access the best deal at the best time, especially because the speed and inherent limitations in the technology we use as retail investors to access the market and those services we rely upon. And if it is to be that cryptocurrency doesn't evolve in a similar narrative, especially with the fragmented nature of exchanges, then it may well be that something like Pondcoin is a necessary part of the future. Right, so I think I'm explaining this well, but if you've got any questions, do ask, because I kind of like this thing. In essence, Pond strives to become a go-to platform for people seeking to optimize their transactions. While it might not be hugely glamorous, it does make a whole lot of sense why this thing might be needed. And that's kind of attractive about these sort of things, despite the fact that this water is moving far too fast. It does make it seem like, a cryptocurrency project nowadays, this is from Brew Lee, this request, thanks very much, Brew, for putting this my way. If it doesn't come with bells and whistles, but it's got a job to do and it does it well, that stands you in good stead, and Pondcoin have got that, I think. Anyway, we're going to get on to the prices it's going to in a minute. One of their standout features is their vision to securely access and interact with a multitude of liquidity networks, all through their single access point. That's in order to provide you with convenience. In pursuit of this vision, the project has made quite notable moves already. They've integrated with over 20 different blockchain networks, as you can perhaps see there. Additionally, they've established connectivity with more than 22 decentralized exchanges, also known as a DEX. And they've developed 9 bridges to facilitate multi-chain routing technique that's quite pioneering. These bridges are quick and efficient ways to change your token and convert it on chain to another. To access the potential, you have to consider to assess the potential, you have to look at the huge market, big burgeoning ecosystem there that operates within this sector, like the swapping and the airdrops, and think about all of the different companies that launch their own version or own crypto in future and how this would benefit them. So if it facilitates more economic growth in the industry itself, then that's likely to be seen favorably by its peers and investors. As with any investments, it's important. It's quite important. You probably could say it's vital that you exercise due diligence and consider all the associated risks, which is what we're going to try and do here when we look at the charts in a second. Now, these charts, I'll just get them up because we don't want to look at that water moving so fast anymore. Quickly just point out 0.189, you're not getting the full decimal details here on cryptocurrencies, CoinGecko here. You do have other details like their website, which gives you a phishing warning, as so many do when you click on it. And you see the recent price action here, not giving you the sideways trend that we know exists, but instead the downward movements on Pondcoin. Now, here is those sideways price action. And like I say, this isn't financial advice, but if it was financial advice, it would probably be the best financial advice in the world. So here we have the 4-hour time frame. It's very difficult, as I say, to get much on this thing when you're on a monthly time frame. There's my arrow, and it's as girthy as price action. Whee, twice button. And then on the weekly, well, I mean, you couldn't rule out that being a bull flag yet, but it would be a bull flag in and of itself. On the daily, you can see that mostly as the thing launched, it was at minuscule prices. It's still overall not setting the heather alight with its huge market cap, which currently stands at, doesn't give me it here, but 475 million volume average and 99 million today. That's significant. Down to that then, now we can see something actually happening as Coco scoffs his treats. This is a 4-hour time frame, and you can see strong momentum. Price action failing at the horizontal, but pushing higher previously. So that's, hard to call that bearish. Price action, while it has lost the center line, hasn't stretched as far as oversold, which when it did previously do that. As you can see here, you kept going down in price action, but the momentum itself recovered, and as such, you would expect this to be then an important horizontal at all the zeros at 950, right? So you break below that, could well be this thing just comes back and tests its initial launch price and goes lower. And if there is bad news in the cryptocurrency market, that probably happens, and this thing definitely can go lower than its initial starting price. Start off on the terrible targets. If it does make it back below its prior low, it probably tests at the 1.13 and bounces, depending on the overall market. So, I mean, maybe I should say that number, all the zeros 176. If that doesn't happen, then, well, it's really going down the crapper. You do have these little gaps to look to. Why would there even be them on this? Why? What was this? Anyway, not great there. So that's 4 hour time frame. The momentum, you're below the center line. You've not got your own moving average. So it's difficult to get excited about that. But then you're not going to be excited about something that at the minute is still like, I mean, the price action itself. You can get excited about the potential of the coin if you want. A lot of people love doing that about new coins, even if they've only got a $5 in it. You know, you can't get excited about the fact that this is going sideways, or you can, in which case, you know, I'd love to be you. You get excited about all sorts of little things. And then in the middle here, right, that's even less exciting because, you know, it could just stay there. If it does leave, then top side, bottom side, quite clear, right? And the more drawings I do, the less clear they get. So the horizontal to break to the upside, all the zeros 3877. To the downside, to be wary of is all the zeros 981. Huge difference between those prices. And here in the middle, right, some people love it. Goldilocks, you'd say this is the most comfortable place for price action to be. 50 simple period moving average. When you're above that, I'd say that's quite bullish here on a 4 hour because the price history is quite low detail, not much detail. The fidelity is quite high, but there isn't that much information, you know what I mean? So then down to the 1 hour where we start seeing some interesting information, such as the Rocky Outcrop Flash. That's below the 200 period moving average and losing the current golden pocket, but it isn't at the bottom side of this sideways price action, so you shouldn't really be all that surprised. And it's at all the zeros 1520. Shoots you, sir. That's a significant drop from where you are at the minute. This 1 hour time frame also shows us below the center line having lost your own moving average, but likewise, you're not spending much time in the bearish control zone, and when you do, it's usually a sharp shift drop. And you've got class B bullish divergence subsequent to that move. And previously it was in around here where again, you've got your bullish divergence, price action going down, but momentum going to the top side. So the divergence is that they're going in opposite directions, you know, as opposed to being the same or going in parallel. So talking about parallel, that is sideways price action. If you want, you could draw a channel on it, but it wouldn't be entirely accurate really. Though let's do it because it'd be better than TraceBoing's drawing, and we want to emphasize the professional nature of the technical analysis. So, hello channel. Hello TradeSpotting. That's what you're looking at, right? And the channel, you sure you broke it there, but like I say, touch the divergence subsequently, and it held that level afterwards. So, Rocky Outcrop Flash, will it drop much below it? At that point, it had lost the 200 period moving average on the 1 hour. On a 4 hour, did we just come from a 4 hour? We did. Oh my goodness, you know what that means? Ba-da-ba-lump. Where is the chat box so I can see exactly what that means? Ba-da-ba-dump. Ba-da-ba-dump. Where did it come in at? I'm not seeing it come in there. Sputter, what are you like? What are you not like, Sputter? Did it come up on the screen? Did you guys see it? What was it? What was it? I hope they've no missed it. Right. 1 hour, we've already done this, but 15 minutes right now, we're really getting into it, where you can see that it does barcode a little bit, especially recently, when if it's been doing 475 million per day, and now it's doing 100 million, significantly less volume, obviously, you could then see, obviously, barcoding, it moves. This is another thing that many new traders don't notice. Many new traders focus on volume, because they project their psychology onto the market and they think, if this was more people like me, this thing would go up. But there is significant amount of people like you, and you get taken advantage of by sophisticated traders who know that volume is meaningless, and the bigger they get, the more of the volume they become. So it's very easy to trick people who believe in volume. It's the last thing to look to when it comes to doing an assessment of technical analysis, and you'll rarely get much confirmation exclusively from volume. It would need to come in line with the confluence of factors, and the truth is that volume more often will confirm price direction than it will do long-term trend or breakout moves. It's obviously the sort of thing that comes in subsequent to the defining technical artifact that leads to the move, because it's that move in price that encourages the positivity from traders. So this is why, as traders, we look for continuation. Now, that's a top tip. You should clip that. Right. This thing, basis line of the channel, there it is, telling us we're below it. Get out of town. That's all the zeros. 1935 has been there in the not too distant past. Today it was at all the zeros 22222. Top side of this resistance, as I say, 394. That's a significant percentage from where you are at the minute. So if you think pound coin's good, if you think cryptocurrency market's going up, then you'd be inclined to think this is bullish. If overall the market isn't, and we see Bitcoin at 25 testing extremely important long-term diagonal trend lines, if that breaks, then it may well be that across the board, you're seeing a little bit of a dip. And BTV, I don't know if that might. And then if you are to look at the market cap of Bitcoin in terms of dominance as cryptocurrency, you've got disimportant. Disimportant? What does disimportant mean? It means not important. This important diagonal, as Bitcoin also reaches its long-term diagonal trend line, you see the same thing on the cryptocurrency Bitcoin dominance chart. So if Bitcoin is to bounce here, which it has done uno dos times before, well, not many people will be surprised. And if that does go up, it means that Bitcoin dominance is going up. If that's happening, then it could mean that Bitcoin's going down, right? Because the dominance goes up. That happens when Bitcoin becomes more of the overall investment in crypto. That would be when other things are falling faster than it, or when it's rising faster than them. So either everything breaks to the top side or Bitcoin breaks down. And at this point, you get a clear example that one of those two things is going to happen with significant momentum afterwards. Bitcoin dominance, if it does move up from 49, you'll test your prior levels at 50. If you can get back above there, it might go to 52 plus, and you see Bitcoin dominance taking over again. And if not, then you see it break down. It may well drop down to 47 spot 50, and that would represent a bit of an alt run. So you'd see things on Pondcoin and similar doing really well. So what did I miss? Tell me in the chat box so I can see what it was. I've got it here open. Volume on the option chain may be helpful though, besides your technical analysis on stocks. It's so nuanced. Thanks very much, Melon. It's true that volume on certain derivatives can give you a heads up on potential price direction, but again, it's highly manipulated in order to manipulate you, and that's also very true of option data. I'd say if you're looking for volume and you believe that to be the way, if it's crucial to the way you do your analysis, then it's probably a good idea to check the volume on the futures contracts if they have single stock futures on the thing you're trading, which obviously they don't on Bitcoin dominance or that altcoin we're just looking at. If you do have that sort of detail, it's most commonly on an index, and it can be helpful, especially because it's futures, right? And if there is a huge liquidity move in futures, that typically comes ahead of or very approximate, again, I said that, I'm not sure if that means anything, very close to moves on the underlying. So what did I miss on the blump? Blump? Crypto doesn't have that. Crypto doesn't have that. What was it? I was just saying crypto doesn't have, again, options, contracts on individual altcoins. Sometimes it does on some of them. It doesn't have futures for vast majority of them, though of course you get futures on Bitcoin. And with regards to an index, well, it doesn't quite work like that, cryptocurrency. After paying bills all day, the gains on the stamps made me feel better. That sounds positive. Chardonnay, fantastic news. I found an old roll of Forever stamps. Sweet! 46% gain. You can't sniff at that. I thought we were playing pub games all the pawn talk. Would have been good, wouldn't it? I've been trying to get the brilliance of Tadpole Games back on the go so that I can introduce it into a sploshing segment on Fridays like today. So everybody gets to see the fun of Tadpole Games. Some people don't know how amazing it was. They also don't know what it means. So we'll probably get there. It was my facts, probably. Kitties never die. It was Kitties never dies facts, probably. I'm sure it was because there's only one. And if you sent one, that'll be it. So where do I find that? Jamie, when nose reveal, could you look at finger and maybe Astra Energy, ASRE. Boom. When nose reveal next Friday on the, is it next Friday the birthday stream as well as the, when is the next one? Oh my goodness gracious me, it's Monday. It's Monday, we've got the face reveal and the birthday stream. Oh my goodness, that's both great news because it's so soon and heartbreaking because you are also stingy and distracted on a Monday. I know, eh? It's like, did he just say that? He's supposed to be a YouTuber. No, it's the birthday stream. And, you know, who wants to have a birthday on a Monday? Oh my God, that's awful. Right, so, yes, that's when the nose reveal. It's not just the nose, it's the whole face. You know, the nose is just a little part of the face. And overall, you know, that the work of art, it's the whole face. You can't just look at one little aspect of it. It wouldn't be appropriate. Tiny little aspect. Happy early birthday, Jamie, from the ghost of Dan Ernest. 25 months too. Happy birthday yourself, Dan. OG Dan. The headless Dan. Legend. Thank you so much. And Chimp too. That's appreciated, Dan. Cheers, buddy. Happy early birthday. Thanks. Thank you very much. I got 2 presents through the door today that I'm going to open and record me opening because it's from funny people who, you know, I don't know what it is yet, so I didn't want to do it live, so I'm going to record it and then show the live recording. I also got a lovely card from Super Cashy and Family. It marks a number of cards I've got from Super Cashy and Family. Super appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Victoria too. If you're happy and you know it, clap your O. And I could show you, but you can imagine the joke when you know that it's a T-Rex singing a song. If you're happy and you know it. Right. Thank you very much, Super Cashy, and thanks, Amanda. And I can't wait to the birthday stream, even though it is a staff Monday. How annoying. Right, so I should have been aware of this, right? It's been coming for 40 years. It's got to be prepared, Trace Button. Right, so we've done that. Did we? Did we do it yet? No, we didn't. Obviously we did. We got all the way to Bitcoin dominance. And then I did want to talk about TupYup and how it's potentially absolutely screwed, right? You did remember we said this would be the peak. And we also talked about how if it went through this diagonal, that would be very, very dangerous if you were still long. And if you entered it at these lows that we talked about it coming to, look, it got right down to them. That alone was like, I mean, I don't know actually, like how good was this? 74%. It was outstanding. It was excellent. It was outstanding. It was world class. Literally, it was world class. And then subsequent to that, obviously, you'll have had your 869%. Right now, if you're still looking for that same ticker to give you a return, it could well happen, right? And if test this prior low, if the breakdown, that, you know, if it breaks that, that's not good. But if it does test that and bounce, you could be looking at it back up about $3 again. If it breaks that, I think you'll see a 50% retracement down at 189. If that breaks, it'll lose the 200 period moving average on way to the golden pocket, which is just above a gap, which it'll fill, which is then right next to 786, which will get crossed because it'll go in 886 after a massive breakdown like this. And that's what happens after these breakout moves. You typically lose 70 to 90%. 90% would take you in around the Rocky Outcrop Flash. And this thing would be back down at 0.6867, which is much less than $1. And, you know, I mean, I don't really like revealing my own positions on things and whatnot. But we took a good move off the back of this. And if it got there, would I take it again? Probably not, right? I would enter for a potential bounce because it's so low that your percentage move off the typical bounce you'd see from that 90% retracement would be worth it. But I'd be managing with a stop, and that stop would be probably be here, don't you think? Right, so, TupYup, I wanted to mention that. I also wanted to talk about SPY. 455, it came in, closed that important gap. Important area to test here, looking left to prior high on price action. 618 from this previous Fibonacci. and the 50 simple period moving average, which you're now just a little bit below. Little bit, having found rejection at the bottom side of the bullish control zone, which is often what happens when price rolls over. But that often comes with breaks of important moving averages, which this hasn't done. Plus, like we say, it's holding this 236, it's holding this 618, and it has not gone far below the prior daily low. It's certainly not exceeded the prior weekly low, and at this section of the trend, you've seen it's broken this wedge. It may well come up higher again if it does manage to hold these levels, 444. Then it could just come back up and test 455. And if that breaks, it'll go on and test 457. If that breaks, right, we've already got the box. It's there at 468. So SPY, if it goes there, and we've called all these moves very well so far. If it does go there, VIX, what'll VIX be doing? It'll be collapsing. It's already like back down at these previous lows. And SPY, as you just saw, right, it wasn't incredibly bullish there. VIX, 3.96% off today. Closing that gap, not that it's important there, but doing it right now. And if it does push lower, this has already been tested 3 times. Sure, you've put in like increasingly higher highs here, but the distinction point was back up at 28, never managed that. Or in fact, you would say in that context it failed. It also put in a potential head and shoulders in this section of the trend. It's expressed the majority of that measured move, had the retracement, got trapped by a 50 simple itself, making its way below the 200 period moving average on the 4 hour. So if VIX collapses anymore, it'll go down, it'll test 12, and then it'll go and test 10, and it'll go and test 8. And if it does get to 8, oh my God, how screwed is the stock market when VIX gets to 8? We'll quickly show you here how screwed it is. It's this screwed September 2017, this screwed February 07, this screwed September 93, 94. Right now, if you've been alive as long as I have, you'll know that these are the moments where the world is absolutely in the shitter, and when you can make so much money, it's insane, because the stock market isn't going to zero. Right, so there you go, right? Come on down here, VIX. I'd love to see it, right? It also means that SPY be pushing up to to really high levels. Those high levels would be preceding a massive dump, and at that point, then the opportunity starts. The starting point of opportunity, right? My middle name. Okay, so those are the important things I wanted to talk about here, and we did get a touch on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin is no shush. I wanted to answer Kitty's question. Was I just doing that there? Well, I can't remember. I have to go back and find Kitty's question and then answer it again, or properly. I have only one monitor, as there were issues, and with the other one, and I was telling you there were people plastering my house. They had to do it a number of times. Anyway, in their endeavors, they managed to knock over one monitor. So I'm down to one monitor, which means that I have to keep juggling and juggling and juggling and juggling. Kitties, here it is. Oh, it goes to Dan. Thank you. Since I didn't mail a present for your birthday. $50, Dan. Dan, you didn't mail me a present. Dan, what? What? Dan, $50. That's very generous. Thank you very much. It's not even my birthday yet. Whoa, you're getting me excited. What are you going to do on my actual birthday? Jokes. Thanks, Dan. $50. That's really generous. I appreciate you so much, Dan. Really, thank you. That's brilliant. And Kitties, what did you say? Jamie. Yes, the nose reveal. I did comprehensively address that part. Could you look at finger? You betcha. And then another one, which I'll get back to. Finger. How you been doing, motion? Finger motion. Oh, good. Positive, right? That's positive. It's up the top side here. It's a weekly. I'm not getting any details. I'm not getting anything. It's a golden pocket retracement. 50 simple's about to break through the 200 period moving average. This is putting a bull flag. If it does break, if the 50 simple continues on through the 200 and carries price with it, that may well be that they swim together, right? Like sucker, fish, and shark up to 690. But after that, price will just shoot away off. Probably back up to 1672 if it does break 690 with the follow through on the moving average cross, which is very possible, right? The only reason it's came back and did this here was because it made a V-shaped recovery. It made it to the top side of the overbought, and it was in a parabolic move, so it had to lose like 70 to 90%. So that's what happened when it was at 10. It went to 1, right? It was 90%, and then you had this double bottom. Momentum was obviously increasing. You conquered your own moving average and the center line RSI, at which point you were going straight through the 200 period moving average, which is now support, right, at $4. So $4 support, best possible entry from here might be that. Target would be 690. If that breaks, it'll go 1690, which is like, get out of town, trades bars. Yes, I know. I agree. That's the top side targets and the immediate danger on the finger. But there are other things to look to, like getting off the weekly time frame. You're back in the bullish control zone here. You're in a strong uptrend. You're potentially challenging the prior high. You've got the 50 simple as support, which is also this golden pocket. That previous trend is measuring a high to a low, so it's significant if you go back through that previous high, $10. $6.90, $10 then on the way to 16. And that is an important level, so you should pay attention there. Previous rocky outcrop flash in at around 442. You broke it once, twice, 3 times, right? So even when price here found support at the 200, rejected by the 50, and then fell through the 200, you already knew it was breaking a parabolic move. You potentially were looking at an 86 or a 90% retracement subsequent to that, having found support at the 50 simple with a double bottom and bullish divergence, and then broken through the 200 period moving average at pace. You would expect to use it as support if you came back there the next time. And you might not even, right, because 50 simple is held support. That was the first test and did well. Itself a 236 retracement, and now back up testing to 786 of the most recent fib, and a golden pocket of this most recent oscillation high to low. So I think it's doing well. I can also see that there's continuation divergence to the top side between those two prior lows on the 25th of July and the 22nd of August, when price action failed to create a lower low, right? And that's a confusing choice of words there. It successfully maintained a higher low while the RSI pushed lower. So that momentum, that strength of all those people who were, let's imagine they're pushing the price down, right? And it's this heavy object and they're pushing it. They had to use far more force to get that heavy object far less distance, which means they're getting weaker and weaker. And so you can go and smash them up, right? You can just kick our heads in. That's what that analogy means. Now, this is a professional show and don't recommend that. You know, it's a joke, right? It's a joke. It's a yoke. So you're looking at test 690, which is also known as Lux Bears, and then you're looking at going up and testing 69, and then you're looking at testing 970 or 960, because that sounds nice having said 690, but it's really $10. If it breaks through that, it's going to 16, which again is 1690. So that's what we're talking about on finger. What was the other one? Kitty's third. Generous of you to put through a donation there. You're all so very generous, Kitties. Let me see, where is it? Gotcha. Here it is. What was the other one? Thanks again, Dan. It was Astra Energy, ASRE. Yes, I've looked at this before. Astra Energy. Here, wait, what? That's not it. Right. Ooh, Bill. That's not great to see things barcode on the daily. It's not great to see the barcode on the weekly. Let's chat with these consumer services, other consumer services. Fantastic. That's really interesting. Trades OTC, market cap 27.297 million. It's tiny. This thing's tiny. Average volume 350,000. Today's volume 300,000. Okay. Well, it's not been in a huge crushing downtrend. It didn't start it. Well, I mean, I suppose that was hugely different prices. All prior to 2008, it was trading in around 20 and $30, and then subsequent to that, the highest it ever got was 5. I can see that would be tough for a lot of traders in this period of time. Tense volatility. 50 Simple's gone through the 200 period moving average in a weekly time frame. Price action's come back up to test it off the back of bullish divergence. You've gone through the center line, your own momentum. Done like the momentum has done well, but price action's failed at the 200. It's failed to recover the important Fibonacci's. It's failed to make it through this important horizontal that price put in when it broke down. That important horizontal being now resistance, right? Price broke down here and then had this huge bullishly divergent low, came back up. It still hasn't broken that horizontal, which is very significant. So when it does do it, you can see that the 236 is just here. That's the next guy, and the horizontals on the prior move are these two in around 330, and then again 575 sort of area, 690, 550. But I can just say a number. Yes, $6, right? So that'd be what you're looking at. And I'd also be paying attention to an 886 of this guy from the all-time high to low, and that comes in at $12.05. So these would be your targets. I mean, this thing rates itself. It's really easy to do the TA in this thing. It rates itself, targets the top side, and then you've got your prior highs. You don't need to tell me what they were. Right, so this is the bullish divergence. Now, the truth is that this thing's still in a downward sloping trend on this leg of the trend, that it is less than it historically would cost, and that in overall terms, it's in a downtrend with lower highs and lower lows since 2005. It's got really, really low market cap, and like for context, I think I'm pretty sure Wall Street bets like don't even let you talk about things with a market cap that isn't at least 10 times the size of this, maybe 100, right? Can't remember what the rules are. Rules, eh? We love them rules. So that's what we're looking at weekly. Let's go down now and see what it means on the barcoding daily. Well, you're back above 50 simple and the 200, and the 50 simple's crossing through the 200. Price action went through the center line into the bullish control zone, put in head and shoulders on the RSI, put in a fledgling uptrend with a higher high on the right hand side here of this leg. 50 symbol going through the 200 period moving average in daily time frame. You can't argue with that. The fact that the most recent low was bullishly divergent itself and in comparison to previous lows, that's positive. 4 hour time frame, 50 simple rising with price action. Now again, this is similar to what I talked about before with the moving average going through the other, the short term through the longer term. So the shorter term being more bullish, and that's speaking to the trend perhaps increasing in velocity and intensity to the top side, which would be confirmed when price breaks significant horizontals. And so when it does reach these, the immediate one at 0.52, it could then push significantly on, like 100% increase then the next target, and from then a 200, 300% increase, and from that another 100% increase, and then again 100% increase. And that might be what you're looking at for ASRE. Very unfortunate choice of letters there for their ticker. I mean, I suppose it could be worse. I could reorganize that and it could be worse. But that's the thing, right? I mean, everyone's going to look at that and their brain will reorganize it. And it definitely doesn't make people trade it because the market cap 26 million, volume 300,000. People don't want to be caught with their pants down trading something that looks like arse. Anywho, that's a joke, right? What we're talking about is Astra Energy Inc. Now, they're also an energy company, apparently. Consumer service and other consumer services. Trade OTC. So, do you know something I don't about these guys, kitties? I mean, all of the moves that you're looking for are 100%. So, I don't say it's going to happen, but if you started with $1,000 and you did enter this when it breaks 4.6 and it gets to 1, you've got $2,000, and then you did that again, you took that trade 2,000 up to 3, you'd be looking at having $4,000, and then if that goes to 6, you look at 8,000, and then if that took the same trade again, it went to 12, you'd be looking at $16,000 from your 1,000, right? Which is pretty good, right? You do that whole thing, that sequence one more time, and you'll be one trade off $1 million. Which is not bad starting with $1,000, isn't it? Now that brings home to me an important point. The job I'm doing here, it's tough. It's a tough job in the job itself, not to do extraneous factors. And then the job itself is tough because trading is very much an emotional journey, and it's very difficult for people to wrest control of their emotions or to attempt to start doing that have they never done it before. And you'll need to do it if you want to be a successful trader. So it's a very tough job. And a lot of people, when they're providing the sort of services or in the realm of what I'm trying to do, they would charge you up front for the pleasure. And I've got a new idea, right? A different idea. I'm going to help you if you've got significant funds or otherwise. I'm going to try and help you. This is what we're going to look at, right? Imagine you have $200,000. We're going to try and turn that into $5 million. And then I'm going to give direct help as if I'm being paid as an expert coach right in your corner all day, every day until you get that to $5 million if you pledge to give me 1 million of it. And I need at least 5 people who actually do have the 200,000 to make this a good idea for me to do with my time economically. I know it's a good idea for most people that would want to take part alongside it. And anybody who has that risk-free capital allowance, get in touch with me. on any of the ways that you're able to. I know that a number of people already have done. I'm talking in that realm. Get in touch with me, and I'll do my absolute best to give you the best help in reaching that target. Now, it's 200,000 and we're targeting 5 million. There's a specific reason for that. We'll tell you about it when you make the 5 million. And like I say, I'd like one of it. So pledge to give it to me beforehand. You can imagine it to be a contract if you like. Obviously, there's a danger that I'd make all that money for you and you would just run away and not even say thanks, Therese Butter, because you'd be so rich and so happy and so spending your money. A lot of people would forgive you for forgetting, but I would never forget. I'd hunt you down and then say, oh, you know, that was pretty shan. So that's what we're going to do, right? If you're up for it, let me know. And then I need 5 people who are genuinely in the position to get those targets, and we'll help everybody else achieve the same percentage return alongside us. But you guys will get directed, specific 24/7 assistance, on-call TradeSpotter, which is free until the point of success. And nobody will ever offer you a deal like this in your life ever again. So think about taking it. Now, we've looked at those two. Thank you very much, kitties. Thank you, kitties. On to the next one.
Get money, nigga. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dedicate this one to all the hustlers that
What is the next one? Is there a next one?
I see you, boy. I'm up before the sunrise, first hit the block, little bad motherfucker with a pocket full of rocks. Learn to throw them things, get my skinny little ass kicked. Niggas laugh till the first motherfucker got blasted. I put the nigga in his casket, and now they cover it. Plastic. I smoke blunts on the regular, fuck when it counts. Try to make $1 million out of quarter ounce. Keep ghost on the 5-0. Fuck them hoes. Got a 45 screaming out survival. Hey nigga, can I lay low? Put some yayo $1.50 when I say so. Don't wanna go to the pen, I'm in fences. Norks on the nigga back, missing me by inches. And they say, how do you survive weighing 155 in the city where the little niggas die? Tell mama don't cry, cause even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a real G. I'm getting money. I'm getting money. I'm getting money. I'm getting money. Watch out, rollers, nigga.
Go! Thanks so much, Go In to Win, for gifting those memberships. Cheers. Congrats, Joel Shorter. Part-time player. And yourself, Kazak. Great to see you. What a lovely group of folks.
I live thug life, but let the money come to me, cause they can never take the game from a young G. I'm getting money. I'm getting money. Getting paid, boy. So my niggas in no town. Getting money. I'm getting money. Fuck them niggas that wanna box with that. Damn if I don't, and damn if a nigga do. Now watch a young motherfucker pull a trigger to raise up. And don't let him see you cry. Dry your eyes, young nigga, time to do or die. I pack a pistol in my pocket, ready on my block. Ain't no time for a nigga to even cop shit. I done seen a motherfucker be paid at point blank range, cause you slept on the game. Made a damn thing change. You're checking the dice now. Roll them if you can't stand pain, better hold them. Cause ain't no telling what you might roll. You might fold cat J's from a slight code. You better live your life to the fullest. We took the killer bull, got a pistol, motherfucker, better pull it. And even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a young G. I'm getting money. Yeah, nigga. That's right. I'm getting money. That's right. Yeah, that's right, boy. I'm getting money. Talk to that shit, boy. Yeah, I'm getting money. Just that shot for the motherfucking house. Get paid, get money.
Get money, make money. Get money, make money. So are you in? Let me know if you're in. Put me in, coach. I saw that in the chat box. You're in. Chardonnay Flasher, you're in. Right? Right. That's $1 million now. It's not cheap, right? It isn't cheap. But then when you consider that I'm helping you make 5, it was very good value. Right, yo. This AMC, did you hear that they are selling more shares? It's because the Adamaran determined that there weren't enough shares available at the minute, and the market were craving some more shares. You're just craving more liquidity on the share side of AMC. So he's come to the rescue again. This is effectively a lower low and a new all-time low on AMC, having exceeded these tests of 10 on the adjusted charts since the reverse split. Seeing it at 753, considering that reverse split is the equivalent of seeing this thing down at tiny prices. Oh, bullub. We got some faxes. So on to the people's hub. Oh, go win to win. $25 on top of the gifted memberships. Wow. Go win to win. Total legend. Thanks for all you do. I've learned so much from you and Rocky. You're a great guy for keeping this resource available to anyone willing to learn. It's a life-changing education. Thanks so much, man. That's exactly what I set out to do. The highest possible quality information I could deliver in the most helpful way to those people who understood what I'm saying, and to develop a group of people who change the world, who are known for having done it, and create an example that will last into the future, and other people can look back and say, this is a touchstone for how we operate. We do what those guys did, and those guys, they're you, right? And go win to win. I hope very much that you're in that group. Go win to win. Total legend. Thanks so much for supporting the show. And everybody, Kitties, Dan, you've been doing it for so long. Brew recently, sorry for getting back to that a while. And now I'm on the screen. Thanks very much, Janine and Spencer, for when I saw those donations a while ago now, but I don't know if I read it out at the time, so thank you very much for that, folks. What else did I see up here? Thanks for all you do. You're welcome. And you didn't ask me for anything, but you know, if you want to, you got it, go to win. Just let me know in the chat box. I've got it here down on my phone so I can see what you're saying. I'm a dear fam. 2 months. Hey, if you can check out Telos coin or MJ stock, either or, I just wanted a second opinion, and we're already deep in both. I will have a quick look. You're already deep in both? Well, I'll have a quick look at both. Telos. Okay. Can I just type in Telos? Nope. Is it Tel USDT? It's not. That's Telcoin. That's pretty straightforward. Where is Telos? Telos. Well, I can find out here what sticker is. Yo. Where's the search button on CoinGecko gone? It is the important button, CoinGecko. Where the hell is it? Where's the search button? There it is. Oh, it's nice, handy, and grey. That's really good. Cheers. Loss. T-loss. T-loss. That's unfortunate. Right, T-loss. Right, you'll get there eventually, spotter. BitGet. USFD. That'll be why. UDFT. That is exactly what I say to myself every morning. TraceBotter, UDFD. USD. T. Telos Tether on KuCoin. Right, is that where you're trading it? That and BitGet are likely the two. Bitfinex also, I suppose. Right, we'll look at this. Oof, right, you're in it deep. Well, it's in it deep itself here. Testing the prior low, which you saw last month, 17th of August. You're on daily time frame here, so it's not insignificant. Found a rejection of the 50 simple. It's below the 200 period moving average. It's creating new lows, and if the overall market dips, the strong get stronger, the weak get weaker, and this thing will get wrecked if it does keep going and the overall market drops. If the overall market bounces, then this is a really low and good value entry potentially. Obviously, that's not necessarily where you entered, but you know what the point I'm trying to make here. If the overall market goes up, this would represent a good buy based on the fact that it's testing a prior low, that it's hugely bullishly divergent, that the previous peak here wasn't continuation divergence, and the extreme nature of the trend has been interrupted by these two retracements. So it could be that this thing is testing important support. Well, I mean, it definitely is. Look, it's back at the same price it started at. It's definitely testing important lows, and we'll see if it manages to break or at least arrest that trend. It could, of course, do something totally different from what I've said, which is go sideways and finding the prior weekly high in line with this important Fibonacci, this previous level of resistance, and the prior weekly, you know, that all of that at the same level suggests that this 0.107 level would be resistance for a while. If that breaks, I'd say this prior high at 0.12 is your next target, and then the golden pocket up at 0.15 or 0.16, which would be 100% from where you are at the minute. Long term, you're looking for it to test 0.26, and this is a crucial test because it's been important resistance since it lost support here. It wasn't all that relevant here, but it was when it lost this. It found 1, 2, 3 touches of resistance before creating those new lower lows. So if it does break through that 50% retracement of that level in at around the 1.415, and then the golden pocket at 1.6, you'll be targeting 0.26. And this is where a long-term resistance target would be very, very wise to have a take profit target here, even if that is like your original positions underwater, because if you're going to make determined to hold it, it will drop if it finds resistance at 0.26 and look for support at 0.16, where you can put it all in again. If it was that you were determined to hold on to it anyway, then there'd be very little risk in selling here and buying back here, despite that being so contrarian to the original objective of holding no matter what, because it's very likely that move happens. Plus, you don't need to absorb that just decrease of approximately 50% in the value, or 30% in the value of the thing. You could just be putting it back in again. Right now, this is the way it would reduce your overall entry, and it would reduce your overall risk from compared to holding the thing. Right? If it did just break up and you'd sold it at a loss, then I'd say that's not the be all and end all. Like, you know, I'm going to help these people turn 200,000 into 5 million. You don't need to have 200,000 to get rich following the trades. But the point being that it's not all going to happen in one trade. It's going to happen over a number of them. And if you know that enough, close enough is enough, then you'll always have enough. And that's a true phrase, right? So that's that one for a quick look. And what was the other? Oh no, the message is gone. There it is. And MJ stock. Which MJ stock? MJ. Let's see. You're talking about ETF MG Alternative Harvest ETF. I doubt it. If you are, I'd say it's in a permanent downtrend. It's at resistance. 200-period move on average. It's also at diagonal trend line resistance. Pardon me, for seem to have got a curious case of the hiccups. It's also at this downward level of resistance. Sure, it's broken through it, but you know, has it really? No, because the important horizontal here is 460. That's the important horizontal for this thing to break. If it does, it'll test 698. At 698, you've got a lot to look to. Be a significant 100% odd from where you are at the minute. You'd have got this downward sloping trend, and you know, you broke through these important levels of support. So if you're looking to move back to the top side, you'd probably find it rested here, and that's approximate to this level of resistance. So I'd expect 674 to $8 to be a strong area, really difficult to break through. If it does, then it would only go 11 anyway. And if it breaks 11, then I'd say you're on for a significant move, because you've already gone way back above 50%. Be targeting the golden pocket, probably the top side at 1370, and if that breaks, maybe you're looking up to 24. It may be long term that you're looking to take this thing all the way to 24, but ETF MG Alternative Harvest ETF would need to do. What the hell's going on with this thing? What is the market cap on it? Doesn't have one. Average volume 5 million. That's not terrible. So, I mean, not like that point I'm making about volume earlier is unrelated to when I look at the amount of average traded volume. That's talking about general interest in something. And if the stock price is $3.95 and there's 5 million of it trading every day, you can work out for yourself how much money that is, and then you can see there's significant interest in it. So, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean an interest in it going up. But yeah, so you break 416, you hope for $5. That's a huge percentage move, but obviously your own entry will be different. In terms of resistance, I'd be weary and be taking profit at 730, 880, $11, and should I get there, I'd be taking a lot at 22. And I'd be laughing my face off having taken it from 4 to 22, as I do commonly laugh at things like that. It's a good laugh. So that's my quick take on those two, Dean. Happy anniversary, sir. Happy anniversary. And I'm glad to get a couple of free ones in there. Couple of free ones. Boom. My MG I should say, yes. Cool, right. So it is this guy. I'm holding it all on the daily. Maybe you're looking for more information. You've got Rocky Outcrop Flash here that was filled with that move, which itself came with this bullish divergence. Subsequent to a good strong move there, but like quite obviously price action was going down. Then you had your double bottom. You were probably going to come back and test that flash at that point. It was a very good reason to target the flash for those people who have it. You know, that's a pretty obvious trade. It's also a huge percentage move. You would have had the flash back 2020, September 2020, and you could have. And there was 76%. You got that on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, do we have any important flashes? Rocket Crop Flash filled here. That was in line with the trend, so that was like a really easy one to take, and it was at $6 down to $4.90. So huge percentage moves, even though it doesn't look much relative to the overall performance of this ticker. It's still huge trades there within this. Right, so we're not getting any immediate flashes there that would have helped us. Would have been well nice if you do get them on top of everything else. And you can see on the 15-minute time frame, not really at significant levels right now, other than, oh, you are. Whoops, you are. There, so on the short-term time frames, you do want to see it exceed this so that it can go to this. Say all that. This, go to this so that it can do that over here. Those two targets. And around these levels. Right, so a long time ago, not very far away, price action made two important horizontals, and those are now relevant again. Can price action conquer them? Nothing but love can conquer me, and in that I'm gladly conquered, as with all currents. Right, so hopefully that's some help for you, sir. I got 200 at 4. Well done. Congratulations. That's a lot better than it might have been. 200 period moving average back down at 359 there on the 15-minute time frame, breaking through a potential diagonal. Higher highs, a little bit divergent, but then you've got continuation divergence on the low side. So, you know, it may well be that it is planning a breakout. It's definitely going to break either up or back down again. If it doesn't hold 377, then you'll test the 200 period moving average. It doesn't hold that. I can't imagine it holding this weak diagonal. The horizontal at 350 is important. If that doesn't hold, you'll give up all of this move and come back and down test 284, right? So there to ruin your good mood is the negatory disaster scenario. You're above a 50 simple, holding it, and have put in a higher high. Sure, it's divergence, but you've not completely lost your momentum. And like we say, continuation divergence previously, if it does just flick back up again, then this could be you're in on a move that's making its way up to, you know, you might get 20% off that, like I'm saying. And that's the important horizontal. And I hope that's helpful. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome, Amadine. Amadine, fam. Very nice, because I got in yesterday. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, this is a nice place to short from if you can stomach lots of risk. True story. The thing with a head and shoulder is that it mitigates a lot of risk by waiting for a confirmation. It does. Not that the people who typically trade head and shoulders are interested in waiting for confirmation, but that is the benefit of that formation. Good point, Rocky. So yeah, waiting is a good idea, but let's face it, meme stocks like PLTR has been often completely the bed. Hi, PLTR. Yo, PLTR. Is there any meat on the bone left on PLTR? We said. Do we have the drawings? Where's the drawings? If you're looking at PLTR, you're probably interested in the trade spot in AI and cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency trading fund, yeah. So if you're interested in if you were in that fund, you'll have noticed that I've said, you know, it's probably a good idea to start taking profits on those things. Rigetti, Nvidia, and others continue to the top side, so good places to start doing that. And as you can see, it's not all perfect, and that this is a potential head and shoulders. That Rocky's talking about is likely higher time frames, but it's still there. Here you've got the guy, shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So your neckline, pretty obviously not what I just drew. Your neckline in around these levels. If it doesn't hold 13.14, there's a gap back here, and the previous entry $8, probably what you're looking at, or a gap fill, which is much more likely here. And then in context, these are the highs that price action needed to break. So if it doesn't do it here and you're getting your measured move, it would be approximately, boom, look at that. That makes sense, doesn't it? Top side of the gap. Well, sir, very good call, Rocky. Yeah, this would be a short-term opportunity as opposed to one for going long. Time to go long was back here. And if you did do such off a trade spotting's advice, then you got 117% move, right? And you only need 9 to be a millionaire. You know, you only need 9. I've definitely given... how many 100% moves would you think? I should get an audit done. How many 100% moves do you think I've called over the last 2.5 years on the channel? Probably, probably plenty. Probably plenty. So you got to do this hard task. They've told you you're going to have to commit. You're going to have to actually engage and maintain your focus and attention. Watch this show every day and never miss an opportunity, because then you'll be able to give up a job in the cheese sandwich factory. Like if I do this for another 2.5 years and you watch every show, and at this stage you've developed through osmosis, even if you weren't intentionally trying to learn, you probably picked up loads. If I do this for another 2.5 years, how can you not be a millionaire, right? Watching along. I mean, you do know, right? You do know. So anyway, let's go into the cryptocurrency fund, see what it's been doing recently. Where is this? AIQC fund. Quick look then. A quick look. Well, that was good. Hope you took profit. And look, that projection from 179 to 269. I mean, that's like, I say how many 100% moves have I called? In the first chart I go to, there's a 46% one there. Obviously, previously we had this guy. That was a 99% move. So, I mean, I'm not going to go through boasting about them all. So it's very difficult when I put them on. Look at this coming back. Boom, 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 boom. All those targets rolling over. Look at that tree. Oh my God, I could get the measuring stick out, but I won't. I'll resist the urge. Yeah, you had a couple of good bounces on this thing. Nvidia's 2.8s. Earnings, eh? Can't argue with Nvidia's earnings. Some people did try to, though. I have to measure this. I'm sorry. Right, so... yeah, I mean, there's another 161. I mean, I can go through this and I'll tell you already that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 moves in the AI cryptocurrency fund that went over 100%, which is pretty good considering there's 24 stocks in that fund and 21 of them did 100% move. Right, that if you started with 1,000, like they all did them at relatively same time, but let's imagine that you did them one by one. I mean, you'd have in the region of, what would that be? I mean, you'd have billions of dollars starting off $1,000, right? Of course, there's other things that happen. Like, I can't control every decision everybody makes, nor would I want to, but there's a lot of lessons there for everybody. Right, what have I been missing in the chat box? Oh no, my chat box viewing device has died. Right, now I have to get the new one up. And in the meantime, on the big time spotter. Didn't. No. That's pretty good, isn't it? Stuff it already.
wanna act up, don't wanna act up. My nigga back up, nigga back up, hey back up, hey baby back up, baby back up. My nigga back up, nigga back up. Hey scoop the view, turn the track up.
What have I missed? What would you like me to look at next? It is a Friday and a sploshing. So I am not sploshing myself. This is Splosh Master. I have to splosh host this evening. What did I miss here? Did I miss anything? I didn't see anything. But thanks very much for those membership gifts earlier. Go win to win. Part-time player. Great to see you back on the roster. Same with yourself, Shorta. Perry is. That's 10 months. New member, first time ever, Nick, you grabbed one. That's great that you're a member now. And Joe Brennan, also back with a new anniversary gift. Great to see you, Joe. So congratulations there. Thanks very much. Go win to win. Cheers for that. Cheers for supporting the show. Dan, thanks. Flasher, as always, you legend. And Andrew, I hope that helped out at the start of the show once you catch it. Also, thank you very much for the other day, JS. And Sheriff Lipton for gifting 5 memberships 3 days ago. That was brilliant. So thanks very much to all of you who supported the show this week, and yourself, Kitties. Let me get this other thing up. There is this other thing you see. Thank you very much, Kitties. Goes to Dan, Kitties, Jeff, Casey there 7 days ago. Thank you very much. That's everybody. Appreciate it a lot. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. Right, if there's anything else you want me to look at, just let me know. Happy to look at it now. You don't have to pay, of course. There's no need. You're welcome, Flasher. Thank you so much. Can't wait to open the presents. Long time no see. Erwin, great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. And everybody, when you're coming back here, if you haven't said hello in a while and you're worried about saying hello because TradeSpotting will see your name and say, where have you been? Or if you've just got this chat box open and you haven't said hello in a while, do say hello to the people in the chat box. You'll be surprised how many of them remember you, care about you, and enjoy your company. So always do say hello. People will be glad to see you, though there is only 20 odd people watching. So I imagine most of you have been saying hello. But great. Do that. Yo, Stu, how's it going? RSI seems backwards. That was the continuation divergence on Snap, I think you're talking about there. Yes, I call it cat vomit. Posture check. Wish I had one of those. I'm leaning over the table to see the monitor because of the furniture arrangement here. 10k in 2007, be 464k today. I gotta get a chart now. Yeah, is that your Apple shares? Yes. Well, I mean, I'm going to help you make a damn sight more than that. In like, that's what, 15 years? You don't need to worry about that. 15 years tend to. I mean, at Chardonnay, we're going to do a whole lot better, right? We're going to do a whole lot better than 2007, 10k turning into 500,000. We're going to do a whole lot better, and you wouldn't need as much. But if you do have more time, you're going to make even better. Love the music. Yo, I'm a deal fam. Want to spend after market hours anywhere else? Cool, especially on a Friday, eh? Aye. Jeez, I really could do with a drink, yo. Oh, tell you what, I really could, yo. Wait there. Oh, you don't even have to wait, because I've got this amazing thing. You don't even have to wait, because of this amazing thing. What a nice noise for a can to make when you open it, isn't it? Rip and tear. Oh my god, what is this disgusting thing? Innocent gun, Mango's on the run. Mango's on the run. What about that prisoner who escaped from the UK prison? He was in Wandsworth Prison, which is in the centre of London, and he escaped. He's 21. Don't take this the wrong way, but he's relatively good looking. He's 21 years old. He's already been a terrorist, a spy for Iran, sent to prison, and escaped from jail. And he's on the run and no one can catch him. Obviously, any right-minded individual would want him to be caught and thrown back behind bars. But everybody that has a right mind is also asking, why did they convict a known spy as a terrorist? And then why did they put that guy in a B security prison as opposed to max security? And then how did they let him escape? It's obviously hugely incompetent. But it's dead funny, and I think that's he made predictions that he would be famous, and they certainly came true. So if you fail at everything else, you can always follow whatever that Khalif guy's name. You can always follow his example. Not that I'd recommend it. How screwed did that thing get, by the way? Ideanomics Inc. How ironic. What else did I see recently? I saw Andrew Tate say a demonstrable lie when he said how he had shorted the Russian ruble and him and his collective had made tens of millions of dollars doing it. And he mentioned a date and he said what he had done. And I know that it was literally impossible for him to have done what he said he did on the date he said, because I was advocating for people to short the ruble, and if they had funds in rubles, to short particular companies in Russia and particular ETFs that had huge exposure, and we made 800% overnight. So I know that you can do it, I know when we did do it, and I know that he said certain things happened that are literally impossible, but you'd have to have had a close eye and experience of what he was talking about to know it was a lie. But if people did pay attention to the things he'd say, he would be exposed as a fraud for the idea that he helps anybody make money, which is the real point of pressure should be put on him, not the other nonsense, because, lads are lads. Lads are lads. That's not justifying his absurd behaviour. I'm saying much of the commentary around the culture is inane. So you've got that downward sloping diagonal there on dot. Let's change the subject. You're back at these previous lows with a potential opportunity on this gain. It's the same across the board with cryptocurrencies. They're at really important diagonals and horizontals, and we'll see what the market does. Link. Also, there you go. There's your important horizontal. No surprise there. Shib. Also back. The important horizontal. And then the overall crypto market cap with this flash on the 4 hour back up at 9770, which is brilliant, right? It's the crypto top 30, which is, a good enough look, I'd say. Tesos at 0.69 then represents massive opportunity. This is a different type of technical analysis. Don't do on stream. And where are we at with Tesos here? Also at this important horizontal, if it does break up, we've got huge moves. Huge moves on that if it breaks up, and it's relatively safe considering the potential on it. Ethereum back to 1840. If it does break to the upside, it's a little bit of a bear flag, but had it not been for that, you'd be alright. It'd be a bit sloppy, but still, see how it goes. But overall, and then here, if it does break up, so much opportunity on this thing. 0.022. 0.015 at the minute. Vet. Lots of things to look to there. Right, what am I missing over in the chat box? Well, hello, it's yourself, Freege. Great to see you. I'm obviously not at the top of the chat box. That was a while ago. Tracepoint, 100%. I'm just pissed that idiot financial advisor talked me out of it. Yes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the story, not the event, obviously. I remember that you had told us. Was it... Where was it he said that? Was that on the podcast? Anyway, yeah, that was an unfortunate event with those Apple shares, but that's all in the past. If we're talking about Apple, it's quite interesting that, did I just type in there? Where did I type it? Who knows? In Apple, quite important stuff to look to. On the Discord, there was a big chat about when the good shorting opportunity would come in on Apple. And we discussed the chances of a bounce here, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 targets. This shows you the importance of taking profit at targets, because subsequent retracement came all the way back down to your entry, and you went up to 189 from 172. The percentage move is significant. So taking profits is a way of managing your risk. The 50 simple going through the 200 period moving average is a death cross. Price action recovered to that point and no further. And then Apple back at its own 236 at 181. So if it does break down, it would be exceeding this important horizontal. There's your 200 period moving average on the daily time frame, along with a 382, which is where you go from losing 236. Especially after rejection of the 50 simple and this divergent top, which is also price swing. Remember that? If only they did another one of those. Swing. Not a huge fan of Innocent Gun Mango's Run, or whatever they call that nonsense. Or Orange Cans. I don't like orange cans. Yo, what's good, Kieran? What you doing up at this time of night? KP. How you doing, Kieran? Where in Miami has he taken you? Where has he taken you in Miami? Where has he taken you? I was on the podcast. It was on the podcast. It was on the podcast. Half a banana freeze. Haha, it's been a week. And they can't find him. He was hiding out on the former DuPont estate, now Gardens. Who's this? You're dating Tezos now, Chardonnay Flasher. That's lucky Tezos. I wanted to short rubles, but I didn't know how. Yeah, and then it was not traded. You know, they shut it down a lot of different places. By the time it was an obvious trade, the exchanges and brokers had closed out those positions. And trading had been banned. Escape? No, you don't live near Alcatraz. Escapee? Yeah, sure, they've got a famous escapee from Alcatraz too. He's here. He's from here in Edinburgh. So he is the only man who ever escaped. And then they made him break back in again. International breakout of prison day. Is it happening all over the world? We have an escapee here. They've closed schools. Oh my goodness, you have got an escapee too. I'm like reading back through chat box like this. That's on the mangoes on the run for reals. That's the mangoes on the run for real. Yeah, good one. Yeah, so it is International Mangoes on the Run Day. That's pretty funny. Okay, so still 20 folks watching. I figured if we had a long stream on, people would see it and jump in and stuff. But I suppose we've more work to do on that to remind people of this brilliant routines back in their life for Splushings. Drinks, fun, good chat, good times, big moves on price action, and very much like Rocky, a passionate, authentic individual doing the best to help you. That's what I was thinking, you know. Rocky Show is very much like that, and this is not all that dissimilar. Bitcoin futures, there's your 200 period moving average. This is the daily time frame. Daily, even better. Daily time frame. So clear pictures. 25,365. You should definitely check out Rocky's video. There's 20 people here, so you'll have seen Rocky's video on Bitcoin the other day. It was absolutely brilliant. You should watch it and be aware of price action there. Obviously, we talked about Enbridge at the beginning. I mean, you could look at that there on the monthly and say there's not all that much to talk about, but we did talk about quite a lot there. So what else are we missing over here on the chat box? The chat box. Scroll. Okay. So it's been a fantastic show. I haven't seen the Scotland result. They've won, what is it, 4 or 5 games in a row? This would be 5th or the 6th. Which is fantastic. Being Scottish, keep on winning and winning and winning and winning.
You better do it right.